Hey guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg, with a sneak peek at what might be the larger 5.5-inch iPhone 6. I've already looked at the 4.7-inch mock-up last month, but for as long as there has been a 4.7-inch iPhone rumor, there has been this 5.5-inch iPhone rumor. The rumors were further confirmed when blueprints of both phone sizes were leaked virtually simultaneously. Now, the mock-ups we're looking at today are based on those leaked blueprints which accessory manufacturers are using to develop their products ahead of the iPhone launch. Now, these mock-ups do not confirm the final details, finishes, or materials, but does give us a general idea of the rough design and dimensions. Now, the 5.5-inch iPhone looks very much like a scaled-up version of the 4.7-inch. On the front, we have our earpiece with a camera and some sensors, which appears to add something new in the upper corner. Now, below we have the larger home button with the familiar Touch ID ring. Now, the display is believed to have the same resolution of the rumored 4.7-inch iPhone, which is 1704 by 960. That would give us a pixel density of 416 ppi on the 4.7-inch iPhone and 355 on the 5.5-inch iPhone. Now, on the back, we have a mostly metal unibody design, which is framed by these stripes. Now, these are believed to be antenna insulators, and on the mock-up, they're just painted on, but they'll be actually part of the structure in the final product. Now, the camera module is protruding on the iPhone 5.5-inch, which is also indicated in the blueprints. Now, this may mean that the 5.5-inch has an exclusive camera feature such as optical image stabilization. We also have a microphone port and an LED flash right next to it, which lacks the dual LED design of the current phone. Now, on the bottom, we have a familiar setup with the headphone jack on the left, flanked by a microphone, a lightning jack at the middle, flanked by screws, and the speaker grill, which is notably larger than the other phones, which may mean better speaker quality. On the left side, we'll find our volume keys and mute switch, which appear to be roughly the same size as the 4.7-inch, all representing a significant design change from the previous iPhone. On the top, we'll find the sleep-wake buttons have been moved. That's because they have now been relocated on the right-hand side just above the SIM tray. This makes them easier to reach on larger screen phones. We actually see this a lot on Android phones. Now, notice, however, that the 5.5-inch and 4.7-inch share the same location for this button, which is interesting since some larger Android phones place these buttons farther down on the side to make them more reachable. Now, in the iPhone's case, the home button is frequently used, but you can see that reaching the home button and sleep wake button without shifting your grip is no longer possible with the 5.5-inch. This is not the case on the 4.7-inch model, however, at least in my case. Now, while the 4.7-inch screen on the iPhone is fairly average in the realm of smartphones today, actually a little on the small side now next to popular mainstream phones like the HTC One M8 and the GS5 and so on, which are now 5 inches or bigger, the 5.5-inch is very large, taking on competitors like the popular 5.7-inch Note 3 and the 5.5-inch LG G3. Now, when you compare the 5.5-inch iPhone to these larger competitors, you can see that the iPhone has a significantly larger bezel area at the top and bottom to balance out the presence of the off-screen home button. This is especially notable when compared to the very compact LG G3 with the same 5.5-inch screen size. Now, you can still get bigger phones than this, of course. You can get the 6.4-inch Xperia Z Ultra or the 6.3-inch Galaxy Mega, among others. The iPhone 5.5 is still a remarkably thin phone, just as thin as the 4.7-inch model, but substantially thinner than the competitors like the LG G3, HTC One M8, Sony Xperia Z2, and Galaxy Note 3. It's also thinner than the iPhone 5S, but not quite as thin as the iPod Touch, but the rounded edges help to visually slim down the design even further. So in conclusion, assuming both these mock-up designs are accurate, there is no denying the fact that the iPhones have larger bezels, which looks somewhat dated next to phones with more compact designs. However, the ultra-thin design makes these larger phones more comfortable to handle than I expected, but ultimately these phones are pretty long and make them less comfortable to handle one-handed than some of the other competition with even larger displays. So what do you think? If you were to buy one of these iPhones, what screen size would you prefer, 4.7-inch or 5.5-inch? Please let me know in the comments section below. Please stay tuned for continuing coverage of the next generation iPhones, and thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.